Welcome to Jerry Recaps. The story continues. Inside the huge conference hall, the huge curved display screen occupies almost half of the venue. There are separate seats in the middle. One by one, the officers in dark blue military uniforms took their seats, and Dong Qingxue and Qin Xiaojun were among them. Not long after, a middle-aged man of medium build strode into the conference hall. After the middle-aged man came in, all the school officials in the field immediately stood up, looking seriously and respectfully greeting Master Yu. The middle-aged man nodded slightly to everyone, and said lightly, "Sit down." All the school officials took their seats neatly and silently. Even Qin Xiaojun, who has always been condescending, is now upright and solemn. Just because this person's name is Yu Fei, and there are golden stars hanging on his shoulders. Representing his rank of Major General in the Eastern Military Region, he is also a 7th grade master. Have all the genius representatives of the provinces arrived? Yu Fei sat in the highest and most central position in the conference hall, and the rest of the seats were in a half-moon shape to surround him. In this position, you can clearly see any corner of the giant curved display in front of you, giving you a sense of the whole situation. Already here, waiting for you to announce the start of the selection. Dong Qingxue stood up and turned on the display directly above. Suddenly, dozens of monitoring images appeared on the screen. Yu Fei glanced at the screen, and then said, "Have you checked the selection of exotic beasts?" Dong Qingxue reported, "All checked, no injuries, no weakening, no special type." Each contestant will enter their individual track through their respective entrance. Victory will be achieved by contestants overcoming all placed exotic creatures and being the first to reach the finish point. Each selection channel has 5 second-level alien beasts, 3 third-level alien beasts, and finally 1 4th-level alien beast. At the very top is the quasi-5th-level exotic beast golden-eyed demon ape. Dong Qingxue explained all the details about the selection process. There was a slight low voice from the colonists below, and some people couldn't help but say, "Quasi-level 5 alien beasts, and they are also the golden-eyed demon ape with the highest combat power in the same level. On the frontal battlefield, we also need at least 2 only 5th-level warriors above the name can fight." For a group of students whose average age is no more than 18 years old, is this selection too difficult? Dong Qingxue faced the speaker and said with a blank expression, "In this selection, we have arranged a total of more than 50 5th-level warriors and 10 6th-level warriors to guard. Theoretically, the possibility of casualties has not been reduced to the smallest." Dong Qingxue also added at the right time, "Actually, this quasi-level 5 golden-eyed demon ape is a common goal we set for all the talented representatives who can reach the final level. If they can't kill this golden-eyed demon ape with their combined efforts, then the final reward for the selection of the General Star of Qiming will only be issued according to the standards of the previous session." Yu Fei said lightly, "If we gather the best martial arts geniuses in the entire eastern part of the world and cannot fight against a mere 5th-level alien beast, then there is no future for the Dragon Kingdom. The resources of the military will only be used on the most valuable warriors." Yu Fei also said coldly, "The Eastern Military Region guards the second most important and the second most dangerous front in the entire Dragon Kingdom, but it has ranked last in the National Military Region competition for several consecutive years. If the internal selection is carried out with the attitude of the game, in a few years, I see that there will be no talents available in the entire East." All the school officials shut up collectively, and no longer dared to have any objections. Only then did the school officials understand that it turned out that the selection of generals with the most lucrative rewards in history also had thresholds and conditions. Glancing at everyone's expressions, Yu Fei said then, "Let's start the selection." Dong Qingxue nodded and gave orders through the communicator. Soon, the metal gates in the dozens of surveillance images on the screen began to open. Dozens of boys and girls representing the most outstanding martial arts seedlings in the entire Eastern region this year walked into the passage one after another. The selection of Qiming generals has also officially kicked off. First of all, the screen focused on a boy with speed-type talent, running through the passage. He was confident enough to win the Qiming general selection through his speed-type talent with ease. "This year Qiming Star General, I have the most potential. I am the hope of Haiqing province, said the young man. While sprinting at full speed through the passage, he sensed a killing intent. Just as he noticed, a huge second-level exotic beast appeared towards his right side. It was a black-toothed saber pig. The young man was stunned, his eyes widened. The huge pig slammed into the contestant, resulting in him slamming into the wall. But the young man did not give up hope. He was a genius from Haiqing province. After getting slammed into the wall, he was still conscious. He exerted his full power to avoid getting squashed by the huge beast. Blood splurted out from his eyes and mouth. It was too huge of a pressure for him to bear. While the young man struggled against the saber pig, the third-level exotic beast, Shadow Cat, made its way through the passage and appeared behind the young man. The first contestant got eliminated. While in the conference hall, Yi Fei was monitoring everything happening at the challenge site. Yi Fei said coldly, "The Qiming star is the most dazzling new star of the human race. Just being outstanding is far from enough. What we need is extraordinary." In a matter of minutes, a couple of other participants also got eliminated. Yi Fei sighed while looking at the screen and then said to Dong Qingxue, "Ask the instructors in charge of security to be more attentive. They all are the future of our nation." Yu Fei looked at the monitoring screen and said calmly, "First zoom in on the screen of the star candidates that you focus on, and then adjust the screen ratio according to the current score ranking." On the screen, the three monitoring images quickly zoomed in. As a martial arts master, Yu Fei can easily observe the situation and dynamics of everyone on the screen. In the three huge pictures on the screen, three boys and girls with different styles came into everyone's eyes. On the far left is a tall and beautiful girl with picturesque eyebrows and waist-length hair. The genius representative of Dongzi province, Kong Qing, is 17 years and 8 months old. Kong Qing, the girl who controlled the electricity, dodged, leaving a clearly visible fine electric light in the air. Appearing again, it has already appeared behind the second-level black-toothed sword pig. The black-toothed sword pig with a slightly sunken head collapsed, and the battle was over within a second. A third-level warrior, a talented warrior of the element control class. The control element is lightning. Current ability control level first level. This girl was different from ordinary people. The end of the girl's long hair was slightly upturned, and the tiny strands of hair trembled slightly in the air like a living thing. Dong Qingxue reported loudly to everyone at the appropriate time. In fact, these are all in the information in front of everyone, and what everyone pays attention to is not the ones that have been recorded in the information, but the ability they show in the actual combat process. Then there is the middle picture. The middle picture shows a handsome young man beside the young man. Objects like nails are suspended quietly, which is quite strange. The genius representative of Jiangzhou province, Jia Haoren. 18 years and 3 months old, a third-level warrior, a spiritually gifted warrior. Passed the second-level spiritual master assessment. Then there is the third picture. The third picture shows saber-toothed pigs rushing toward the contestant. The appearance of the boy in the third picture is extremely striking. He is nearly 2 meters tall, exceeding the height of many adults, with dark skin and a fierce appearance, like a brown bear walking upright. The whole person rampaged in the passage like an armored tank, and the second-level black-toothed saber pig was crushed to death by it. He was the genius representative of Shilin province, Xing, 18 years and 9 months old, a 4th-level martial artist, a defensive talent martial artist. Current talent level, iron skin. While the young man dealt with the saber pigs, the third-level exotic beast Shadow Cat managed to sneak behind and attack his back. But the contestant Xing was injured even a bit. He turned his head to look at the Shadow Cat and punched the Shadow Cat on its head. The punch destroyed its head, and the cat got buried into the ground. When Dong Qingxue mentioned the brown bear boy, many of the officers below couldn't help but jump. 18 years old, 4th-level martial artist. At this moment, many people have secretly regarded him as the most popular candidate for this year's Qiming General. Even Yu Fei's eyes stayed on Xing for a few more seconds. This is already an exaggerated achievement. What is the average martial arts strength of these people? Level 5. and the 18-year-old boy in the picture has already reached the 4th level. There are no shortcuts in this stage of training the muscles and bones from the 3rd to the 4th level, and it is the most time-consuming. At this stage, this Xing is almost equivalent to the invincible existence of his peers. At the 1st level of Qiming's general star selection, a dozen or so pictures fluctuated and zoomed in quickly. The results started from the 1st level, and among them, there were some teenagers who were quite eye-catching, which once again attracted everyone's attention. Zhao Lai, the genius representative of Dongyi province, has a talent for controlling flame elements, and the level of ability control is at the 1st level. This is not recorded in the data, Yifei said while looking at the instructors. Sheng Wanling stood up from his position and said, Zhao Lai's ability has not been awakened for a long time, and I haven't had time to change the information, sorry. Yifei nodded slightly and spoke, no worries, everything speaks through strength. You have done well nurturing a promising talent. Sheng Wanling nodded and thanked the general and sat down. This is what I should do as your subordinate. Other school officials scoffed at this remark. Mao didn't have time to change, and he didn't deliberately conceal it, thinking that he would be a blockbuster in the selection. However, the military region does not strictly stipulate that it must be reported truthfully. Anyway, it will be shown during the assessment, unless you don't want to get a ranking, so it doesn't matter. Sheng Wanling was quite proud and figured out the second limelight. When sitting down, he even glanced in the direction of Dong Qingxue and opened and closed his mouth to say 3 different marrow. Dong Qingxue and Qin Shaojun chose to ignore this stupid criticism. They found Lu Xing's figure in the more than a dozen surveillance images that had just been highlighted, and they didn't panic at all. At this time, the screen fluctuated for the 2nd time. Yifei was monitoring the screen very carefully to look at every aspect of the fight. Suddenly looking at one of the candidate screens, his eyes got widened and mouth wide open. He looked at the pathway that got cleared in a few minutes when other star candidates were still struggling with Tier 2 or Tier 3 exotic beasts. Yifei shouted while looking at the screen, what is going on this pathway? Why does the red sign of the exotic beast not visible anymore? He then ordered, quickly pull up the surveillance footage of this pathway. Dong Qingxue immediately started pulling the footage and showed the scenes on a larger screen. While looking at the dead bodies of Tier 2 and 3 exotic beasts, Yifei was amazed. He could not say anything and just stared dazedly. After some moments he spoke, strange, this is the genius representative of that province. The speed of advancement is so fast. It is almost no worse than the other 4 monster seeds, and even a line faster. He instantly pointed towards Dong Qingxue and ordered, quickly pull up the footage and replay it on the screen and tell me who that person is. Dong Qingxue also did not know. When she looked up at the data, she was also stunned. It was Lu Xing. Lu Xing's image showed up on a huge screen in the conference hall. The footage was reminded 3 minutes ago when all the contestants entered their respective pathways. Lu Xing strode into the passage. The metal gate slowly fell behind. The metal door was completely closed, and Lu Xing's spiritual power spread out, clearly sensing that something was waiting for him in front of him. With a heavy gasp, as Lu Xing approached slowly, a huge alien beast 2 meters high and over 5 meters in size appeared in front of him. This alien beast looks a bit like a wild boar, but its mouth is full of dense, 1-foot-long protruding teeth. The body is covered with a black-gray mane, and the tail more than 2 meters long is almost entirely composed of black stingers. Secondary black-toothed saber pig. Lu Xing grinned at the monster, revealing neat white teeth. I've eaten your meat. The next moment, Lu Xing's figure disappeared. He appeared again, already directly above the head of the black-toothed sword pig. The black-toothed sword pig made an ear-piercing low roar. His eyes were extremely red, and his body exuded a cruel and tyrannical aura. Lu Xing raised his right fist. His eyes were as blazing as stars, and he softly read out a name that only he could understand. Meteor Fist. The fist fell, and the rear half of the huge black-toothed sword pig completely exploded. The terrifying punch penetrated its body and exploded within it, forming a fan-shaped area of blood foam behind the black-toothed saber pig. So weak? Lu Xing fell lightly and looked at his fist. Although it is only a second-level alien beast, it should not be so fragile in principle. Looks like I'm getting stronger, Lu Xing was thoughtful. Just as he was pondering over his strength, the steel doors inside the passageway opened, and 2 other saber-toothed pigs came out of them. The pigs ran towards Lu Xing, with energy radiating from their bodies. Lu Xing picked up the horn of the pig that he destroyed before. It was a huge horn, stronger than most metals. Using stellar body technique, Lu Xing threw the horn at the pigs, resulting in one of them getting knocked out. Lu Xing then used his control-level martial arts to pierce the last pig's body with the horn. In the end, all Tier 2 exotic beasts died with a single blow. He just entered the battle and naturally entered the first form of Shirquan martial arts. This state is amazing. Lu Xing's control of his own power has reached an unprecedented and unimaginable height. So even without using any power-generating skills, the basic punching power reached an astonishing height, and the second-level black-toothed sword pig was blown up with one punch. Condensation of strength, explosion at a fixed point, insight into weaknesses. It is like reaching a state of omniscience and omnipotence. All-knowing, all-powerful. It's a bit similar to the martial arts of controlling the realm, but it is higher and more comprehensive than the realm of control. Lu Xing could not use an accurate multiplier to estimate how much stronger he had become in this state. I just know that I've gotten a lot stronger. While Lu Xing was comprehending the higher realm of his technique, the third-tier exotic beast, Shadow Cat, appeared behind Lu Xing from the shadows. As it was about to attack Lu Xing, he just used his control-level martial arts to pierce the cat's heart with a small stone. The surveillance pictures on the huge display screen are constantly decreasing, and the remaining pictures are constantly highlighted. Gradually, only 5 pictures remained on the entire giant display screen, which accounted for the largest proportion, suppressing all the other pictures. All the alien beasts are punched one by one, and they don't bring out the second punch. The instructors sitting in the conference hall had their sweat pouring down from their heads. They could not believe their eyes. Do you have the information? Read the information. Yu Fei also looked at Lu Xing in the picture with interest. Dong Qingxue hesitated for a moment, but still opened her mouth and said, "The genius representative of Dongning Province, Lu Xing, 17 years and 5 months old, a third-level warrior, a power-type talented warrior." The mediocre information, Dong Qingxue couldn't help but stop after reading it. There is no bright spot, and there is no special ability to show during the battle. Many people have turned their attention to a position, and Shangguan Ling is also among them. In that seat were Dong Qingru and Qin Xiaojun representing Dongning Province. There was no joy and anger on their faces, and their faces were expressionless. Shangguan Ling stood up from his seat in a hurry and spoke hurriedly. "Could it be you also hid some information about your candidate? It's just strength, and the speed seems to be slightly higher than the ordinary third level. The quality in all aspects seems to be much stronger than the ordinary third level, but it is obviously not at the fourth level. Many people have turned their attention to a position, and Shangguan Ling is also among them." General Yifei looked at Lu Xing with interest and spoke, "Have not you all noticed it yet? This child should have mastered at least 4 kinds of perfect martial arts. Among them, the movement technique and boxing technique have reached the subtle realm, so the fighting ability shown in actual combat is particularly outstanding." Yufei broke the secret in one sentence. The school officials had slightly moved expressions on their faces. It is not surprising that one martial art has reached the perfect state, and it is not surprising that 4 or 5 kinds of martial arts have also reached the perfect state. The realm of subtlety and the realm of perfection are not the same concept. The most amazing thing is that Lu Xing is only 17 years and 5 months old this year. Could it be that you have been practicing martial arts since your mother's womb? Yu Fei also showed admiration, and said lightly, "I haven't seen such a pure martial arts genius for a long time, such martial arts geniuses who are outstanding in martial arts understanding, only in the first 100 years of martial arts, now." Before Yu Fei finished speaking, Lu Xing in the picture had already reached the 6th level. This is also a threshold. The alien beast that blocked the road changed from the 2nd level to the 3rd level, and the strength was greatly improved by a step. And Lu Xing in the picture didn't seem to realize this at all. But on the other side, Lu Xing had already noticed the fourth-tier exotic beast's presence through his psychic power. The second alien beast appeared roaring. This time, it was an alien beast similar to a leopard, with fine scales all over its body, reflecting the dense colorful light under the snow-white light. The leopard-shaped beast is stronger and faster than the black-toothed sword pig, and it can create clones of itself to confuse its opponents. As the leopard and its clones charged at Lu Xing, he immediately released his psychic energy to detect the original body among the clones. After a moment, Lu Xing calmly placed his hand over the leopard's head. He raised the leopard's body high in the air, and finally slammed it into the ground, resulting in crushing the head of the beast. Lu Xing calmly threw away the ugly leopard head in his hand and walked forward slowly. Inside the conference hall, everyone was witnessing this scene. The sudden fluctuation of the picture caused the discussion among the school officials below to abruptly stop, and all of them stared blankly at the picture. And Yu Fei's words suddenly got stuck, and the whole body subconsciously tensed slightly. A few seconds later, Yu Fei's slightly complicated voice sounded in the quiet conference hall. "It's wrong. This kid's boxing is not on the micro level. It's in the control." Underneath, there was a breathless voice. Dong Qingshua's expressionless face clenched her hands tightly, and her eyes fluctuated violently. As for Qin Xiaojun, he spoke, "So that is what that kid meant by 99% chance." Sheng Wanling, who was looking at Qin Xiaojun with a surprised expression in the distance. Qin Xiaojun secretly pointed his middle finger to taunt Sheng Wan. "Look seriously, what a dumbass. Almost tested the limit of the first form of Shirquan martial arts." Lu Xing instantly killed the third-level alien beast with one punch, thinking silently in his heart. From the beginning to the present, he has never used any trump cards other than the first form of Shirquan martial arts. The purpose is to test his combat effectiveness in this form. The test results show that the first form of Shirquan martial arts can almost allow Lu Xing to easily have the strength to kill the third level and crush the fourth level without using any force-generating skills and augmentation methods. Lu Xing thought about it, and unknowingly came to the seventh alien beast. As he entered the final room, there he witnessed a huge beast close to Tier 5 exotic beast. It was golden-eyed demon ape that was trapped inside a huge cage. Lu Xing clenched his fist and said, "It's you. Since the warm-up is over, there is no need to hold back anymore." As the beast sensed the presence of Lu Xing, it roared loudly to intimidate its enemy. But it was Lu Xing. Looking at the fifth-level alien beast in front of him, Lu Xing glanced at the monitoring position above his head, thinking thoughtfully. Since the test has been completed, there is no need to keep it. The warm-up is over, and it's time to let some people trembling for me. That's all for today. If you like the next part of this manhwa, just comment below. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment for getting epic content on this channel. See you next time.